It's almost exactly 2 years today that I was medically grounded and lost my ability to fly small aircraft like Echo Yankee Zulu. But a few things have changed since I last gave you an update. So in this video today, I want to give you an update on what's happening with me, my health situation at the moment, and what the prospects look like for my flying in the future. What's happening with Echo Yankee Zulu, because this plane's about to go into maintenance for a bit of TLC, but also what's happening with this YouTube channel, because I've just made a very big update to the types of content that I'm publishing on here, which I'm hoping is actually going to make your enjoyment of my aviation content even better. In terms of my own flying at the moment, as I record this, it's February 2026, and I am still medically grounded. The regulator here in Australia, CASA, who I've been working with, they wanted me to basically wait for the 2-year grounding period after the operation that I had. I have, as you probably would have seen on this channel as I've given you updates, I have been going a little bit backwards and forwards with them over the last 12 months to try and see if I could get back to flying sooner. We've provided a whole bunch of tests, report from experts, but the regulator has held firm on their position. However, just before Christmas, I decided that, to be honest, I'd had enough of this backwards and forwards between me and the regulator, and I just decided to ask for a date when they would be lifting the grounding so I could plan ahead and know where my future lay in terms of getting back to flying. And so I asked that instead of going through more of these tests, can they not use the evidence that's been presented to them by my team of medical experts and the tests I've already had done to give me a date when I can get back to flying. And unfortunately, after Christmas, they wrote back to me and said, no, we still want you to go ahead and do those tests. So to hopefully try and wrap this whole thing up, I said yes to getting those final 2 tests done. And in fact, a couple of weeks ago, I went back to a place I'm very familiar with and went back and got another MRI scan done on my brain. It's becoming quite a familiar walk for me, actually, up through the streets of East Melbourne to the consulting suites, which is where I get my MRI done. And I'm back again for another one. Wish me luck. Done. Hopefully the last one I'll have to do for a little while. I had to do the contrast dye MRI, where they basically put a little cannula in your arm and they squirt some dye in there, so it just shows up with a bit more contrast on the scan itself. Part of the annoyance of this whole process as well is not only the time and not being able to fly, obviously, but it's the cost of these things too. And this is all like at my own expense. CASA don't obviously give you any reimbursements for the cost of all of these things, and it isn't cheap to get an MRI done. But the thing I did like, the cost for an MRI at the place I just had done, if that's not a sign that I'm going to get my medical back after getting this one done, I don't know what is. The results of that MRI have already been sent to CASA. Once I've done the second test, the results of that will go to CASA as well, along with a letter from my doctor who'll basically state that I'm in fit health now and ready to get back to flying as a private pilot again. At that point, we wait. They give me a response either that yes, now those tests are done and the 2-year grounding is up, I can go back to flying, or they say something else. Then there are other pathways that I can take. I of course don't want to go down that path, but if I have to, I will, because I'm in the situation now where I know I'm ready to go back to flying again. Medical experts who've treated me over the last 2 years have put in writing that they agree that I am ready to go back to flying again. It's just the regulator who is the final tick in the box. And if they decide not to tick that box, well, then that's a different path. And I'll bring you along on that journey with me as well, because I think that'll be interesting to see where we potentially end up. But like I say, I hope I don't get there. So what about EYZ then? Well, this aircraft has actually been flying quite a lot, even though I haven't been the one flying it. What I've been doing for most of the last year is privately hiring this aircraft out. There have been some leisure flights that have been done in this. There have been some medical runs as well, and it's been really great to see this aircraft actually getting out and being airborne. You generally don't want to leave an aircraft just sitting around on the ground for too long, and you might have seen, if you followed this journey of mine, that Echo Yankee Zulu, for the first year that I wasn't flying, really just did sit in the hangar kind of gathering dust and wasn't being used very much at all. But I've been really glad this last year or so that this aircraft has been able to fly a lot more. It also makes me feel a lot more confident when I get back into it, knowing that this hasn't been sitting on the ground for a couple of years, that when I do eventually get to fly EYZ again, that I know it's, you know, it's been flying and it's in a good flying condition. What it does mean though is that, first of all, this aircraft has taken a bit of wear and tear. which is to be expected, of course. It's like if you put your house on Airbnb, or you lend your car to your mate, there are little scuffs and bits of cosmetic wear and tear around the aircraft as well. And I have to get used to my precious baby having been used by other people. But of course, it's been beneficial to me because there has been rental income coming in over the last year, which, to be honest, hasn't really made me a profit, but it has kept me ticking along at about a break-even point. And I've been trying to come to the airport as frequently as possible to do little minor bits of maintenance and updates, just to spend a bit of time in the cockpit, but also, to keep that touch point with this aircraft going. That's been an important motivating factor for me as well during this process, reminding myself of how amazing this aircraft is, how lucky I am to have it, and how much I'm so keen to be able to fly it once, hopefully, the regulator tells me that I can. So what's happening to this YouTube channel? I said I wanted to make a change, and the real reason behind that is that I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that in the next couple of months I do get back into private flying in Echo Yankee Zulu once again, and I want a place where I can share that journey, the confidence issues that I'll go through, how to go from being a pilot who flew quite a lot to being a pilot who hardly flew at all for 2 years, to being a pilot that wants to get back into flying again. I've got a ton of places that I want to fly to, adventures that I want to have. I want to take this aircraft overseas again. You can probably imagine that after 2 years of sitting on my couch playing around on my iPad of all the fantasy flights that I want to fly, well, now I can actually realize those fantasies and make some content that I know those of you who enjoy the general aviation world will enjoy watching on this channel. Now, you may have seen on this channel, though, that I've really leaned quite heavily into the commercial aviation over the last couple of years. I've always enjoyed traveling, and I'm very interested in the way that airlines operate their businesses and how passengers like us who enjoy traveling can get the most out of our air travel. So I've been producing more content like that because I haven't been able to fly in private aircraft myself, and I've put all of that content here on this channel as well. And so after, it's been 10 years that I've been doing this YouTube thing, after 10 years I've decided to do something that I've never done until this point, which is to take private aviation and commercial aviation and split the two. This channel will continue to be all things private aviation, my journey back to flying EYZ, how to become a pilot, the highs and lows of the general aviation world, and what it's like to be a private pilot flying small planes. However, I'm still going to be traveling, and I still enjoy making my commercial aviation content as well. So what I've done is rebranded another channel that I kind of had sitting in the background into Steph747. And Steph747 is the place where you're now going to get all of the commercial airline content, the trip reports, information on airports, airlines, destinations, the ins and outs of the business side and the passenger side of being a frequent flyer and air travel. So if you like your small planes and your general aviation and you just want to continue seeing that, you're in the right place. You don't need to do anything. If you enjoyed the commercial aviation content that I posted and you're not really that fussed about the general aviation side, then I just encourage you to click on the link down below in the description and go and subscribe to Steph747. And if you're like me and you enjoy both and you sit somewhere in the middle of that Venn diagram, then of course, please feel free to stay subscribed to this channel, but also check out Steph747, and if you like the content on there, subscribe to that one as well. Okay, I'm now officially wetter than the plane, but at least it's cleaner. Now, this aircraft, like many others, has to go in for mandatory maintenance inspections. And in our case, we do one either annually or every 100 hours, whichever one comes up first. And because of all the flying that Echo Yankee Zulu has been doing over the last few months, it's actually up to 99 point something hours. So really, this aircraft has to go in for its 100 hourly maintenance inspection. Unless there was a way to somehow burn that 0.7 hours on this aircraft by maybe just going with a mate and getting a bit of an airtime at the end of the day, because I haven't flown in this aircraft for ages and I really miss it.
Moving ground, afternoon, Cirrus Yankee Zulu, Northern Runaway with November. Request taxi 17 right, up in the Python South.
Yankee Zulu, moving ground, taxi down to Golf 2, runway 17 right.
Golf 2, 17 right, Yankee Zulu.
What else have I missed at the airport since I've been away? Oh yeah, all the firefighting helicopters.
And they're right outside your hangar as well, aren't they, all of those?
Yeah, so the APU's running every day for half an hour. They've actually been used this season.
Yeah, sadly.
Yeah. You right to go?
Yeah, I'm good to go. Doors shut.
Tower, afternoon, Echo Yankee Zulu is ready, 17 right, up at departure to the south.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Moorabbin Tower, afternoon, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff, Echo Yankee Zulu. Watch me land this way too fast today because I'm not used to it. Just to the 3-blade prop.
Hey, don't you decide? Well, you're still doing that. Even after 2 years off from flying, you're still going to like bag me out for my 3-blade prop.
We all know 4 blades are better. Down better, climb better.
Just focus.
So with a freshly washed aircraft, the exact right amount of propeller blades, and 0.8 hours at our disposal, we rolled Echo Yankee Zulu along the runway, ready for what I really hope will have to be the last flight I have to make in this aircraft as a passenger.
There are multiple pros and cons of both. I wouldn't say one is better than the other.
I would.
I did note that my traffic spotting skills are probably in need of a little bit more practice.
Traffic over there to the... Is that traffic or a bird? Just...
Don't know.
No, it's a bird. That's a bird.
And for two people who used to fly together a lot but haven't done very much over the last few years, we started to chat about a few of the places we could go to once my medical grounding is lifted.
Not really flying for fun lately. Just waiting for you to go back so we can go somewhere.
Aw, that's nice. So what are the things that we're going to do? All right, so we need to organise what we're going to do for the Wollongong Air Show, because I think we're going to go down there this year.
Wollongong Air Show?
Yep.
Surely we can go somewhere on the Murray River for a lunch or something like that.
Yeah, what I need help with is good spots that we can go to, like airports which have got preferably food on site.
Yeah.
It's places like little local Melbourne airfields where we know the people there. You can get a good coffee, get good food. But I miss just not being able to sort of get up on a Saturday morning, see that the weather's nice, send you a message, then an hour and a half later we could be up there having a coffee.
Yeah, that's right. Hopefully within a month.
I'd like to go there. I'd like to go into the desert again because I love flying places like Lee Creek, up into the Red Centre as well.
We really want to do the Flinders Ranges and
oh, it's gorgeous there.
Arkarola.
Yeah.
That's more of a winter trip than anything. But
yeah. Are you logging the hours as well? Because what do we have? 0.7 that we can use up.
Yeah, I'm not going to go too much further. I'll start heading back.
Yeah, well, we can start heading back now, if that's everything.
With the 0.8 hours remaining on Echo Yankee Zulu slowly counting down, it was time to prepare for our landing back at Moorabbin.
I haven't done a good landing in like 6 months, so surely
You
I'm
haven't
due.
done a good landing in 6 months. Oh, well, that bodes well. Why didn't we take your plane then?
2 miles ahead. I was one on the nose.
Oh, yep.
Moorabbin Tower, g'day again. Echo Yankee Zulu is approaching Karen 1500 inbound with November.
Echo Yankee Zulu, Moorabbin Tower, join downwind, runway 17 right, following a diamond, about a mile and a half ahead.
Downwind 17 right, copy the traffic, Echo Yankee Zulu.
How long does your 100 hourly normally take on an aircraft like this, which is in pristine condition?
Should be only a couple of days, really.
So then the plane will be ready, and just got to get me ready.
Yeah.
Yankee Zulu, clear to land.
Clear to land, Echo Yankee Zulu.
Papa Yankee number 1.
Remember to make sure you
Number
shake
one,
the
Papa
camera around. Make it look
Yes,
overly
you do
dramatic.
that. Stephen, no! What are you doing?
Despite getting my hopes up that he would actually stuff this landing up and give me a nice dramatic ending to this video, he did what he always does and he put it down really nicely. And once Echo Yankee Zulu was back and on the ground again, we took it round to the maintenance hangars, and this is what it looks like today, right now. It's currently undergoing its 100 hourly inspection, and we're going to get EYZ back in fit flying state, hopefully ready for when I'm able to fly it again. I'm really grateful to have you on this journey with me, and if you want to keep seeing my commercial aviation content, remember, subscribe to my new Steph 747 channel over here, and I'm really excited to share more of my general aviation journey with you here on this channel as well. Thanks as always for watching, and hopefully I'll see you on the next flight.
Thanks.
Alright, thank you.